pleasure to welcome you back again. Incredible amounts of networking and conversation, and that's very much about what we have going on today. But we do also have some incredible stories to be shared. And as we navigate this program, you're going to meet and hear from three incredible entrepreneurs who will share their company growth stories and focus on that all-important question, why investment matters. The first of those joining us today is Rob Hannam. Rob is an agri-entrepreneur with over 30 years of experience in this sector. He's a founder and owner of several businesses, including Synthesis Ag Food Network and Farm Health Guardian. His passion for agriculture was cultivated while growing up on the family's grain farm in Ontario, in Guelph, Ontario. His deep experience throughout the agriculture industry and has worked with many multinational large and small agribusinesses. As a consultant, he's advised government institutes, industrial organizations, and farmer-led associations all across Canada. And so, again, sharing why investment matters, please welcome Rob.
All right. Well, thanks, Katie. Thanks, Grand River Ag Society, for hosting this. It's a great event to be here in person. Let's get into it. Maybe just to find out, so who's in the room. So hands up if you are like a business owner or an aspiring business owner or running a startup. Okay, that's a good group. We got 40%, I would say. Okay, what are you, an investor? Are you an investor? Okay, now look at those hands. Keep your hands up. Yep. All right, you got your mark for later on at lunch. Okay, I tease, but I threw in a slide for both in terms of why investment matters, and so that's why I want to just get a sense. So I think I will cover both of those items. So I'm Rob Hannam. Thanks for the kind introduction, Katie. And I'm here to talk about my story to Farm Health Guardian, the latest venture that I'm involved with. So Farm Health Guardian is a software as a service platform serving the livestock sector, and I'll share a little bit about it. But here's my basic agenda for the next 20 minutes here. I'll talk about my story just to recap sort of how I got here. I'll share with you about Farm Health Guardian so you get a sense of that. And then I'll answer that question, why investment matters. And I've really got here's the answer. There's three things: speed, connections, performance are the three things that I'm going to come back to. So sort of remember those as you listen to sort of the story that's built towards today. And the final piece is for all you business owners and aspiring business owners, is about how to be investable. It's just my take on being investable, because it's both sides. It's not just getting people to invest in ag tech. It's having entrepreneurs, business leaders that are ready and are investable. So my story, as was mentioned, grew up on a farm, super lucky in my career. I've worked in agriculture or food for my career. I work with a smaller, like a farmer-owned seed company, so reporting to a farmer board of directors. Then I went to work for a larger company, so I was there for 5 years, a few years in Canada, a few years in the US. And what I learned, well, one of the many things I learned there was, we're a smaller market here, right, in terms of the size of Canadian agriculture compared to our neighbors to the south. And if you get overwhelmed, when I was a marketing manager based in the Midwest US, everything was just these bigger decisions. And what I learned is if you just break it down, you make the right decision for a small market and then just add 3 zeros, you were still probably right. So it helped me focus on the things that I learned, growing up on a farm and running a small business, still applied to a big business. But what a great opportunity to work in the US for a few years and meet a number of people. I came back to Canada, and then I joined a marketing agency, and I was there for 5 years. And I started as like a business manager, and then partway through there was 4 offices that we had, 2 in Canada, 2 in the US, and I had maybe about 70 people in my team. And then I became a partner. So I was a partner in this agency, and it was great. I got really addicted to learning new things, because we would work with different clients every week. It might be like aquaculture feed one week, farm equipment next week, animal health products, seed, biotech traits, all kinds of stuff. So I got addicted to like learning and all this new stuff all the time. But I was sitting at the boardroom table as a partner one day, and I decided, you know what, I've got these ideas, and I'm trying to advance these ideas amongst my business partners, my co-owners. And I thought, you know what, I could just do this on my own. So I actually exited from that and started my own company. That was in 2009. So that is called Synthesis Network. So we've been a consulting and communications agency based in Guelph. I've got around 15 people on the team even today. And it's just been so rewarding. And the business was split into three parts: consulting, communications, like a marketing agency, but also some software. And so we developed some mobile applications over the years. One of them today is going off the charts, so to speak. So it's a grain pricing app called SellSmart. We built that for grain farmers of Ontario. My former business partner, Peter Gredig, farmer in St. Thomas, he was instrumental in that concept and helping build that app. And we had a number of those kind of software projects over the years that we had some success with, and we had some failures with. We developed a new app back in the day in 2010, 2011. We'd launch it in the App Store, and we were, got a return on our investment. And then we'd launch in the Android version, which wasn't called Play at the time, and we'd get like zero uptake. They just wanted free stuff. And it's hard to compete with free. So we learned some lessons in that early days in ag tech and software and mobile applications. I feel blessed to have a great team of people, many who've been with me for a number of years, but some new team members as well that have even come in the past couple of years. And it's important to get new people in agriculture. And I think we heard that this morning, but I just want to echo that point as well. So that being said, there's some disclosures I should make, because agriculture, especially in Ontario, is a pretty small group. And I think we should consciously make sure we welcome new people and be more open. I get the benefit of having grown up in this sector. So, I'm familiar with two people that were on the podium before. So Joe Dales was one of my first sales managers that I reported to. So great mentor and sales leader. John Lansink, who was on the panel as well, is with Ag Capital Canada. It's a small world. He is invested in Farm Health Guardian that I'll just talk about. I'm also an LP in Ag Capital Canada, just for disclosure. So I'm on both sides of that. And then after me is a great presentation I'm looking forward to from someone new into agriculture, and he's with Emertech. And so Sean will be here. So we're kind of bookended by some great panels. All right, so that's sort of my story. Doing consulting work, got to do this great project in around 2018, 2019 that's ended up forming a national animal health organization called Animal Health Canada. But we did some of the initial consultation work for the government and for other groups to dig into that. And it was a meaty sort of project for us. So we got to learn about animal agriculture. I've worked in crops and grains and seeds and exporting my whole career. I get dropped into this project on animal health. It really opened my eyes to the issues with livestock diseases. We got to meet or interview like the chief vet officer in most provinces. We got to meet with animal health and biosecurity specialists from different commodity groups, whether it's beef producers or sheep producers or dairy farmers. And just a huge learning, and that was really great. Running our business, January 2020 comes, and I should reach out and thank this gentleman, but he contacted me about an employment opportunity. And he said, "Oh, we've got this new startup we're going to make. It's in the farm equipment business." And I said, "Well, I don't know much about farm equipment businesses, so I didn't really take it too seriously." But he said two words to me that really stuck with me, and that's stranded technology. And it really opened my eyes, and I see it everywhere. And that's one of the problems if I think about the panel discussion this morning, that's one of our challenges is we have stranded technology, and I don't know about you, but I see it everywhere. Where there's ideas that come through a researcher, they are probably fantastic ideas, but it's stranded. Without business expertise put onto that idea, it's likely not going to achieve its full potential, or it's going to be sold at a technology development stage to some bigger company who might not be in Canada, and then it will grow and become something awesome. So that's one of our challenges that I hope we, as a group, we can kind of fix. But I saw this stranded technology thing. So my eyes were open to that in early 2020. COVID hit, our consulting business dropped a little bit, gave me a chance to think. And John Lansink at Ag Capital called me with this opportunity, and he said, have you met Tim Nelson? And Tim is the original founder of Farm Health Guardian. He had started the business, on the side. It was his side hustle, if you can call it that, for a number of years. And he built an app, and he had got a customer, and he had just retired from his job. So I know Joe talked about finding young entrepreneurs. There can be more mature entrepreneurs as well. It's not just about 20-somethings, guys. Okay, all right. So I was, my eyes were open to the stranded technology. They said, have you met Tim? I'd known him for years, but never really connected. And we got together, and we actually started working with him to do marketing. We created the brand Farm Health Guardian. I joined Tim as his business partner September 2020. We launched October 1st, 2020 with this business. So Tim and I were business partners at that point, and we launched. And at that point, a few months later, Ag Capital Canada saw enough potential that they invested as well. So thank you for that. So what are we working on here? I guess I'll cover a few minutes now on Farm Health Guardian. So we are in the business, what's the problem we're solving? We're in the business of helping producers and food companies reduce the risk and reduce the impact of livestock disease. If you look at the slide here, I know it's hard to see the colors, but you just see, it's getting worse. It's only 2 diseases on this chart here, and that's 2021 is the big bar, and one is African swine fever. So in swine, I know it's not here today, and I know it's not in the US. However, it's in many, many countries across Europe and Southeast Asia. It's growing. The other one is here today. It's highly pathogenic avian influenza. There's 4 cases confirmed in Ontario right now. There's over 15 million birds in the state of Iowa have been affected this year. My business partner, Tim, is in the UK right now. The UK's had over 100 outbreaks of HPAI. Usually there's 6, 8, 9 in a year. They're at 100 right now. So this is a problem that's worth solving for the economic reasons, the losses, for the animal welfare reasons. Let's protect the livestock we're raising, and for the people reasons. Have you worked in a barn where the animals had a disease, an issue? It's not a nice place. No one wants that. So the people, the money, and the animal welfare issues are all important, and we want to help. So just a couple of examples. So one that we try to help with is called PEDV. So it's a swine disease, and it's been really an issue in Manitoba this year. And there's some cases in Ontario. A new case was just announced in Ontario as well. But if a sow barn gets PEDV, the little piglets really struggle, and like the economic loss in that barn, if it's a 3,000 sow operation, is over $200,000, plus the welfare, plus the people issues. So how do these diseases happen? Well, there's many ways, but what we're focused on is reducing disease transmission risks on people and on vehicles. And that's one of the main reasons. If you look on the right side of the slide, this is just ranking sort of the most common ways that diseases move around. And it is on live animals, right? And live animals, well, they move in a trailer. They're on a truck. And then people can inadvertently carry the disease into the barn or near the animals on their clothing, boots. And then the bottom there, trucks, trailers, vehicles. So what we're helping do is reduce the risks of spread. There's 2 parts to Farm Health Guardian. There's Farm Health Monitor. It's an animal health record-keeping system. What we're trying to do is connect the worker in the barn, make it easier for them to take notes and make observations on what's really happening in the barn, and pulling data together about the environment in the barn, and communicating that right to the veterinarian and everyone in between, the farm owner, the vet technician, other service providers. So kind of connecting all the dots into a centralized health record. On the right, it's Farm Health Protect. That's the system we're selling today. It's the biosecurity management system. And a big part is confidentially and automatically recording trucks and people movement on and off of farms. So the vet has it when she's doing a disease investigation, and they can quickly determine, well, where might it have come from and where might it have gone, which previously would take hours or days. They can do that in like 10 minutes, right? So they can generate the report instantly, make choices about what to do with the farm operation and their biosecurity protocols, and instantly communicate through the app and through email or text messages. So there's lots of details I'd love to share maybe on the break if you want to learn more. I'd have to say I'm now assimilated into this language of investors, right? So here's our go-to market. It's really just like, what's our plan? But there's a whole language. You heard all the acronyms today, right? About what's your CAP or what's your traction. Traction is just a fancy word for sales. That's what I used to call it, in the last 30 years. But now it's called traction. I joke, but it's kind of funny. Those people who raised their hand that you've got a business, you're aspiring to be, to start a business, you need to learn the lingo that the investors speak. This is our go-to-market. We're validating with integrators. So integrators, food companies who have farms and contract farms, that's our prime target customer today. Swine, poultry, and I'd also like to shout out to the Grand River Ag Society. We ran a small pilot project last September here at the track. We had some training centers. We had some great trainers who were also, here very often, and Grand River. So thanks to Jamie and the team here for welcoming us. I would say it's a successful pilot. We could speed up the entry time for the trainers coming in with their horses. And I see tons of potential to automate the processes for an operation like this and the other 15 or 20 tracks around Ontario. And that's just one of the opportunities here. There's lots of growth potential with the Farm Health Guardian platform. As we move into 2022, we are scaling up. So just trying to increase sales. And we're going to use that with distributors and also software integrations. So distributors we have in mind would be like veterinary clinics, right? Having vets offer Farm Health Monitor as part of their service. Insurance companies, we've had 4 insurance companies that have expressed some interest and said, wow, if our customers, the food company, was using this, they would be more insurable, or that would be a higher quality risk. So there's lots of room to go, and it's amazing what you'll discover once you have a customer, once you start listening to your customers and trying to meet their needs. A couple more pieces. So this is our technology pipeline, another fancy word, but this is where we're heading. So we had our seed funding with Ag Capital Canada December 2020. We've been sort of working on the technology, perfecting it, building the team, getting sort of ready. 2022, we plan to do another raise. So we're starting to get ready to fundraise here. Maybe by June, we'd be launching another round because we'll have enough sales, enough confidence in our customer base that we think we're ready. And the white boxes on the screen there talk about some of the new technology we have in our pipeline, and there's one there called Project Hockey. So it's confidential technology we're working on. I'd love to have one-on-one conversations with any potential investors at some point between now and June to see if it's of interest to you. So that's where we're heading with the business. And I guess the next piece is let's talk about what I was asked to cover, which is why investment matters. So the first thing is about speed. Investment helps a business go faster, and speed matters in business. I think in agriculture, what I would observe is we grow up on farms, agriculture moves slowly because it's really risky to make a lot of changes all at once. A farmer, whether you're raising dairy cattle, chicken, crops, vegetables, you make 1 or 2 changes a year, and your 30-year, 40-year career, you end up making a lot of change. But if you change 6 things at once, that's a huge risk, and you could lose the farm, and nobody wants to lose the farm. So you make slower changes, but I think that's how a lot of us approach business as well. And that's maybe not how the ag tech sector is going to work. And my observation is that there's not many new customers out there. In agriculture and in food, there's an existing set of farmers, there's an existing set of food companies, and they might change hands or move around, but there's not new ones being created. So the customer base is there. If you see a problem and you're using your own funds and you're investing, you're sort of building a new technology, this cool idea, it might be 3, 4, 5, 6 years before you get it to a place where you can sell it. But then there's probably like somebody in another province or another state or another country who's doing the same thing. And when you get there, your market's a lot smaller because the other half the customers have already been taken. If you want to get ahead of your competition, you need to go faster in this space. And the only way to do it is through investment, using other people's money. There's some risks with that too, and I'll cover that in a second as well. So that's my first point about why investment matters. Speed matters in business. We need to go faster in ag tech, carefully, but faster. So we need investment. The second is connections. With the right investors, you can get a whole new range of connections. And I've been blessed with, lots of great advisors, mentors, and investors. And the connections are amazing. So you can get you to other countries. You can learn so much quicker because you can, like in this room, there's people who've made mistakes already, and they're happy to share with you what not to do. That helps us greatly. It's made my career better listening to mentors, working with other people, some of whom are in the room today. So connections is the second reason to consider investment. You don't know what you don't know. Other people can help. The third one is performance. All right, performance. Being accountable to a board or advisors makes me better. I'm looking at John Lansing right now. He's a finance advisor. He's the guy I need to be better for. John, thank you. Let's backtrack in my career story. I was at a table. I was partners in this marketing agency. I decided to do my own thing. Well, why was that in 2009? So I didn't have to report to this group. I could just do my own thing. So it's a balance. At that point in my career, I really wanted to do my own thing, and I benefited from that, and I've got what I've got today. But my next chapter is about tapping into these networks and these mentors. And when you report to someone else like a board, you've got to be sharp. That's my take anyway. I want to be sharper. I want to think about their tough questions before they ask them. I love that challenge. So I'm better reporting to other people, and that's, if you can embrace that, I think you can be successful as well. Earlier in my career, I got to teach farm business management. Teach isn't maybe the right word, but we created a program. I've likely worked with over 200 Ontario farm families on farm business management training over the course of 5 years. Independence is a pretty common thread among all those farm operators. They're proud of what they've built over generations as their family operation. And I would say, let's do a strategic plan. Let's write it down. I don't know if we can write it down. And there was the obvious things of writing it down. Why do I need to write it down? It's all in my head. And, I would say things like, well, then you're an island because your spouse or your kids or your parents or whoever doesn't know what you're doing. So that's the one part of why writing it down, creating a report for your board makes sense. It gets it out of your head. You organize your thoughts. You communicate to others. It's a good thing. But one of the hesitations I didn't expect but uncovered with the farmers I worked with is when they told somebody about their dream or their plan or their goal, or they wrote it down, they felt accountable. And if they didn't, well, they could change their mind. And so one gentleman actually said to me, well, I don't want to write it down. What if I change my mind? So that's the mindset, I think, with many of the farm-based entrepreneurs. It's okay, well, they've got to write it down and communicate to people. Well, I don't want to do that. You might change your mind. Yeah, writing it down doesn't mean you have to follow through. It helps get the thoughts out, then you can change it. So I don't know if that is helpful or funny or useful, but these are my top 3 reasons as to why investment matters. Now, just to wrap up here for just a quick minute, on being investable, here's a couple of thoughts, and it should say be investable at the top of my slides there, but know your numbers. So I would say if you're one of the folks who held your hand up, you're a business owner, you aspire to start a new business, maybe you're a researcher, you've got some technology, before you take money from other folks, other investors, know your numbers. The game changes when you're building something with other people's money. I relish the challenge. Like, I love it, right? I love the math. I do, right? I check my QuickBooks all the time, right? I download my reports. If I'm like 3 days out of reconciliation with my bank, I like feel odd. So maybe I'm different, but I love it. I would recommend to you, know your numbers. It's not something you can delegate. If you're the business owner or leader, know it. Don't say, oh, my finance person knows that. You've got to know it if you're going to use somebody else's money to grow your dream. Put customers first. There are a ton of great meetings, and I'm very happy to be here. But you've got to find a balance of what's the right number of meetings and seminars and conferences and workshops you can go to versus the value of spending time with your customers. And our team, our small team of 5, we try to, at Farm Health Guardian, we try to spend time with our customers and limit the sessions we go to. So that's quite important. You're going to learn as much or more from your customer groups as you will from the mentor groups. So don't overdo it on all of the other side meetings. Pick your partners and your investors very carefully. We talked this morning in the panel, someone mentioned it would be a 7 to 10 year sort of time frame. Yeah. Like, they're going to be on your board, they're going to be on your ass for like 7 to 10 years. So you better be comfortable with who you're getting to partner with on this business. Set realistic expectations. I get to pitch or see presentations from other startups, and then there's these huge numbers we're going to achieve, and this you just go to the YouTube and visit startup pitches, and there's all kinds. And if you add up the money that all these startups will generate over time, it's amazing. But just set realistic expectations. So you got to have 2 versions. It's like, here's the dream, the pie in the sky. This is how big it could be. But here's my realistic expectations. And I think if you risk credibility if you go out too often and say, yeah, this is where it could be, and then you fall short, because ag is slow to adopt new stuff, right? It's a multi-year process. So be real with those. And then the last point I'll just say is always be learning. So I love it. I learn all the time, but find the right mentors. Accelerator programs. I'm privileged to be part of the Cultivator Accelerator, which is you'll hear about next, which is from Emertech, and they kicked off with a fantastic week in Regina, Saskatchewan just last month. So I'm pleased to be part of that one. But books, right? Podcasts. I'm a podcaster. There's all kinds of startup and investor podcasts or audiobooks you can listen to. So if you're starting a business, get into it, whatever way, whether it's a book or a podcast or in-person courses. There's lots to learn, always be learning. Those are my comments, and I thank you for the opportunity to be here, and look forward to chatting with you over lunch or over the break about why investment matters. Thanks.
I'm going to resist the temptation to make any jokes about Rob's age as we wrap that up. I've had the pleasure of knowing Rob for some time, and as he spoke today and shared one of the many stories he could have shown, I absolutely love the speed, connection, performance. I think that 3-pillar metric translates into so many parts of the things that we do every day. So on behalf of the organization, don't forget to grab your goodies to go home, Rob. So again, from the room, a great big thank you.